This week I learned no hair, don't care. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike coming at you with another weekly update as we are headed towards the end of the month of April, and lots of things are going on all over the place. Real life, on the channel, outside the channel, you name it, stuff is going on. So yeah, I mowed the yard the other day and I came inside and I was just so hot I said, to hell with it, and I finally just went ahead and buzzed it all off. So most of the comments have been very positive about it. I don't think it looks that much different. My wife has always said I have a nicely shaped head, so she didn't really mind it. So I think that was like the last line of defense, was making sure my wife was okay with it, and she said sure. So always make sure that you get the wife's approval, you guys. So as for this week, guys, let's do like usual. Let's kind of kick this off with what am I reading? And now I did actually, I got these in the wrong order here. I did finish to Wizard and Glass. I've been saying 2 Green Angel Towers so much, I've started adding 2 to like regular stuff. Like this is 2 my morning coffee, you know. But Wizard and Glass, amazing the second time around, guys. It's one of those things, like I said, I'm anxious to see how the people in my read-along, they started it on the 19th. And I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to feel about those first-timers because it is just, it doesn't really progress the main real-time storyline so much because this is all of Roland's backstory. But there's more. There's even more stuff in there than I remembered. Like the main quest does kind of begin and end this book with the flashback taking the bulk of the middle. But again, guys, a great book. I can see why this is one that people, fellow Tower junkies, have always said is their favorite, or I've always said like it's maybe my 3rd or 4th favorite. It's going to be tough to re-rank these when I'm done with the reread because there's so many things you pick up on a reread, and there's stuff in here that I didn't remember the first time around. So was very excited to revisit that, and I'm very excited to continue on that path. 19th of each month, we're going to be doing a Dark Tower book, and I'll be doing my Into the Multiverse for Wizard and Glass in May, so you guys have that to look forward to, and we're going to go ahead and roll through the rest of the tower over the summer here. And yeah, we're doing Wolves of Kala next month. I'm excited to go back because when you get to books 5, 6, and 7, that's where I started to be like, in my memory. So I'm excited to see how I feel about it here on the reread. Now, I finished this, guys, minutes before I started recording this. What can I say, guys? John Gwynn just does not miss. That's what, the 9th book I've read by him now, and he's hit a home run in every one of them for me. The guy continues to just know how to write stuff that you would think on paper, I don't know, all this North stuff is just really just Nordic, all this lingo is really just bringing me down and stuff. But guys, it doesn't matter because the story is just breakneck. I mean, he writes these big chunker of books and you literally fly through them in like 3 or 4 days. It's incredible. So yeah, I'm very anxious to see how he concludes the story with book number 3. I'm not sure if we're going to have the same release schedule. Obviously, if you guys don't know, he did have a family tragedy, and I think he is taking some time off. But this book, again, John, you just continue to impress me, sir. And like I said, guys, I don't even think Joe Abercrombie wasn't even 9 for 9 for me when I read his first 9 books. So I think John is definitely someone special. He's already become like an automatic author for me whenever he puts out a new release, and it's going to be like a day 1 read for me, pretty much with him. Everything that he puts out from here on out. So I'm really excited about where his career is going. I'm glad he seems to be getting a really big foothold in the fantasy community now, because I've seen more people talking about this book in the last couple of weeks since it came out than I did for all of his books combined before this. So I'm excited because no one, man, there's hardly anybody out there I'd love to see have more success than John, because he just continues to kill it, guys. So pick up Hunger of the Gods if you haven't. So what am I doing now? Well, guys, I did actually read the first chapter of the prologue and the first chapter of Homeland. Here's the first book in Dark Elf Trilogy. Technically book 1. It says book 1 on the spine, guys, and I know that people get all tissy about this. But technically the first book in the Legend of Drizzt. I've talked about it recently on the channel about how I was going to start dipping into these. And it's very different than I expected to start off with. I didn't expect the first chapter to have quite So, because everybody's like, oh, this is entry level fantasy, it's palate cleansers, you don't think too much. And I was like, there's a lot of names and locations and a lot of house politics in that first chapter. I was like, okay, well, this doesn't seem like dumbed down or anything. So I'm enjoying how it has started, and haven't even actually met Drizzt yet. So there's that. So that really is the plan going forward. But I guess that kind of takes us into what am I going to read. Now, obviously, all I've got left for the rest of the month, guys, is Homeland, Exile, and Sojourn. This is this rest of the Dark Elf trilogy. That's really all I've got planned for the rest of the month. I've had a crazy good reading month. I've read some thick books this month, and I think it's that post tax season time for me. You get to use your brain back for something else, and it looks like it's back to reading. I'm on a hot streak right now, but I think it's just I've been reading so many really good books. I mean, the John Gwynne one was excellent. The reread of Insomnia went even better than I thought it was going to go. Obviously, the reread of Wizard and Glass. I think whenever I'm struggling a little bit, I seem to just go back to the well that is known as Stephen King, and I get my mojo back a little bit. But that's what I've got going on there. We're taking the kids camping for Scouts. Actually, tonight. We're leaving tonight, actually. And so it really just depends how that goes, because the weekend after that, we've got our family vacation that we're taking just for, for about 5 days up north. So if I'm able to finish all three of these books, it just kind of depends on how that goes. I'm not going to put any pressure on myself with the Drizzt thing, as it was always going to be, this is going to be something like my Dresden Files, where I just kind of throw it in whenever I've got some extra time on my schedule. I throw in a Drizzt book because they look like they're, not very demanding of reads. And then after that, guys, and we get into May, it's going to be Bernard Cornwell time. Finally getting into Warlord Chronicles. That's going to be in May. So everything is just looking awesome on paper right now. I'm very excited about all the things that we've got planned to read. And it's just going to be a great time right now. I think it's going to be an awesome summer reading. And I'm enjoying this new reading freedom that I got, where I can just say, like, you know what? Hey, I want to fit a reread of a Dark Tower book in. I can do that, So having that reading freedom again is just really just it's just making my day. I'm having a great time with it. But let's go ahead and move along, guys, to this week on the channel. Speaking of the Tower, since I had this excitement about the Dark Tower again, and I had so many people that have asked me questions. I mean, I love kind of being like a steward and kind of helping people along with understanding Dark Tower stuff without any spoilers whatsoever. I love to talk to them. I love to listen to their theories because it's fun. And it just kind of takes me back to a time when I didn't have this outlet to talk to everybody about Dark Tower, while I was making my first read through it. So I'm loving that. So I get so many questions about Dark Tower that I finally just decided. I mean, like I did that live stream last week, and so many questions about Dark Tower. Where should I start? What do I have to read first? This, and this. So I decided, what? I'm just going to make a video and I'm going to answer all these questions. And it was just really a non-spoiler, just pretty much just like the most frequently asked questions I get about the series, including some obnoxious ones like I heard the ending sucks, things like that. So I thought it was a good way to clear the air and get more people that are willing to give the Dark Tower a shot. So that was really the goal with that video, and the reception has been pretty positive. Like a lot of people are like, okay, I think I'm finally ready to start it now. So that's awesome. Anytime you guys want to talk about the Tower, for real, it's an open door policy with me. When it comes to Dark Tower, I love to talk about this series. So anything you want to kind of bounce off me on that, jump on the Discord, hit me on Instagram, anything like that you want to talk about it, I would love to have a nice little palaver with you about the Dark Tower. We did finish and review To Green Angel Tower. Like I said, I've been talking about To Green Angel Tower so much. Now, I reviewed that as a whole, the whole book. I didn't do it breaking into part 1 and part 2 because I don't really usually like to do reviews of sequels on here. Like, I don't plan on doing a review of Hunger of the Gods. It's one of those things where I could just, if people haven't read the first one, they have no interest to watch a video for the second one. But since that was a read-along on the channel, I did decide to review all 3 of those. But what was different about To Green Angel Tower is at the end, I talk about how I feel about Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn overall, and why I think it's very important that every fantasy lover reads that series. So I had a great time with it. Definitely not perfect. I have my complaints, and they're well chronicled since, I have Like if you count that spoiler talk video, I have 5 videos of Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn on the channel now that you can go back to and check out if you want to. Don't know if there's going to be any more spoiler talk going forward, just because we did that one for Dragon Bone Share, and it was just like tepid reception at best. So I don't know if we're really going to do spoiler talks for any more of that stuff, but we are still talking about it on the Discord. There's still some people finishing it up. We do have the whole month, and it is a big book, so I had a great time with it. I'm glad that I finally read it. Don't necessarily agree with my brother that it's a Song of Ice and Fire ripoff, but I can see a lot of the reasons that he believes that, and I talk about it in that review. So I hope you will check it out if you haven't yet. And then, guys, there's some stuff I'll talk about in a minute, but things got away from me this week, so I had to kind of move a video up that I was expecting to not maybe do until a little further in April, maybe, in May. But this is my looking ahead to 2023 kind of video, where I talk about some series that I'm interested in starting for the first time. And I know a lot of people think that's like really early. I do this every year, right at this beginning of quarter 2 of the year, is I will do stuff series that I'm interested in checking out for next year. And I get a lot of feedback on those videos, and that helps me decide which ones I'm going to do the permanent ink like I did last year. And so these are always the things that are up for discussion, up for interpretation, anything that you guys want to add. If anything you guys want to sell to me, that's the place to do it. There's been lots of that going on already, because I brought up when I did like the series that are most recommended by viewers, and I said I didn't have any time to do Drizzt, and I'm reading Drizzt now, less than a month later. So I do listen to you guys, and I want to kind of take into consideration what it is you guys want to hear me talk about. So never be afraid to drop in the comments and let me know if it's a series I don't have, why you think it would be something I should move up. Because as you can see with Drizzt, it was a very easy sell once I actually got into the brass tacks of what that series was about. But that's what that video was for. Now, when we talk about next week plans here, the reason, guys, that I haven't been able to get that Tolkien video made yet, and it's going to happen next week, why you should read J.R.R. Tolkien. It's just those videos, the why you should read, they take a lot of pre-production, putting together the intro and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't have time or the energy this week because unexpectedly my oldest had to have surgery. And I don't want to get too much into it. He's fine. He's going to be just fine. It was not like a life or death kind of thing. It was just like we weren't expecting this. So, if I hadn't shaved my head, my hair probably would have fell out, because I did stress a little bit, because, perfectly safe. But anytime one of your kids, has to go in anesthesia, it's scary, I think, as a parent. So, it was a stressful thing. So that's why I just went ahead and said, I'm just going to do that looking ahead video, just because it's easy and I don't have to put a lot of homework into that. So that's why I kind of moved that one up. But I will get to the Tolkien one this week, as well as going back into the multiverse and talking about Insomnia. And there's lots of things to talk about that book, because myself included, I think that book has been very much undersold and undervalued by King fans. But it does depend if you're a Dark Tower fan or not. If you are not a Dark Tower fan, I'm not sure how you'll feel about the book, and we're going to get into it when I talk about Insomnia. I think there's going to be lots and lots of things to talk about there. And then one that, guys, this was just, I get this request so much. And here's the thing, I get the request for so much Star Wars content, and then I put it out, and then it's like tumbleweeds. But I think that this can be one that is approachable for anyone, because it's a question I get asked a ton, and that is, where should I start with the Star Wars EU? Now, that's Legends for a lot of people. For me, it'll always just be the EU. We'll always call it the Expanded Universe. So that's just kind of what I'm doing there. But I get so many questions about it. I think it's an easy answer, but I think I'm going to give you some options in that video that maybe other people don't give you. It's just kind of going to depend on what it is you're looking for. Now, I think there's ways to break it up. It just depends on how much backstory you want to know, kind of thing. So we're going to talk about several different starting points for you in that video. And what I think, if this is something you're looking for, I think you should start here. If it's something you're not really interested in, or you don't think that you need that backstory, okay, here's what you can do if you're looking to do it that way. So I think that's going to be a fun conversation. I could talk about the EU anytime. Huge fan, obviously. That was pretty much like my MCU growing up. It was pretty much like, I'm never going to get more Star Wars on screen, because at the time we didn't even have the prequels when those started. And yeah, that was pretty much just like, that was everything in high school, just kind of going through every 3 months a new Star Wars book was coming out and stuff. So it was just a great time. It really was. So I'm always excited to talk about the EU, get more people to do it. And guys, I love Star Wars. There's no other universe out there I've spent more time in my life, because I've read like 70 Star Wars books, and several of them numerous times. So I am definitely excited to talk about the good old Star Wars, good old galaxy far away. But guys, that's pretty much all I've got on tap coming up next week. How about a little bit of TV and movie talk before I go? And I don't have as much as usual, because my kid and I didn't watch anything this week, so I don't have a father-son story to tell you guys about some 80s action movie or anything this week. We were hanging out. We just kept playing Game Pass, so we didn't really watch anything. I kind of did want to talk about this Netflix story, though. I don't know if you guys caught this or not, but Netflix, they had a really rough week. They released their quarterly report, and it's the first time in 10 years, guys, a whole decade, that they have posted a loss in subscribers. Now, I still think they're going to be fine, guys. They've got a stranglehold on the streaming market. I don't think anyone's catching up with them. Within a decade, no one's catching up with them unless they sell, which I still would be stunned if they do. They've been operating in debt for a while now. They're blaming obviously conflict overseas right now, and obviously they think that password sharing is a big problem for them. For me, don't want to get too much into it, but just things are tough with a lot of families right now. So I think when that happens, what's the first thing that you cut out? Entertainment, right? So I think that has a lot to do with it. You know, I mean, I'm sure you guys have went to a grocery store recently, or you've looked at gas prices, and you know that things are really rough, and some people are having tough times getting instant meat. Yeah, you know what? Maybe we don't need to be paying $20 a month for Netflix. And that's another thing, guys. They keep raising their prices. So I have always, you can go back, but not anymore, because they're not there anymore. But the old podcast I used to do, Geek Media Corps, before I started this, me and my co-host Danny used to all the time be like, Netflix is operating in the red. They could clear their debt so easily if they just put some skippable ads before their content. And what do you know? Now they're talking about introducing a ads-based plans that are going to be cheaper. You know, and I imagine it's going to be like Amazon, where you just have skippable ads, or YouTube, or just a 30-second ad once in a while, something like that. That would make them huge money, and they could get out of trouble there. But yeah, I definitely think you know, they've been on top for so long, they felt like they could, just like Amazon Prime, they can just keep increasing prices, and you're going to probably keep paying it. Personally, for me, I said, as long as it stays under $20, I'll keep it. But once it's over $20, I'm like, I don't think that I'm just going to get back to feeling like I'm paying for cable again eventually. So we're always going to keep Amazon Prime. So that comes from Prime Video, just because we order so much stuff from Amazon. But yeah, right now I'm like, if Netflix gets higher than that, I think I might switch to HBO Max, because I think HBO Max is just you can't get better value for as much. You know, if you haven't watched a lot of their old programming and stuff, there's so many original series, and of course their movie database is second to none there. So I don't know. It's the streaming war. I think Netflix. It's Netflix and everyone else. I really do. But yeah, this has got to be quite alarming to investors, because like their stock dropped 40% after the story came out. So I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. You know, you always want to kind of say, let's make sure this isn't like a knee-jerk reaction, because it's not like a trend that's been going down for like a year or anything like that. So let's see if it bounces back, anything like that. But I think that if they try to lock down this the password sharing thing, I think that's going to backfire a little more than they want. But again, guys, I'm just a guy with Wi-Fi. They're the trillionaires. They know what they're doing. I would imagine. I'm not operating in debt, so, you know, I have a very smaller operation to worry about here. Let's talk about this Fantastic Beasts movie that flopped. With me, guys, look, I was excited about Fantastic Beasts when it came out. I like the first one. I think Eddie Redmayne's a very underrated actor. I think he's very, very good. He's had some really bad roles. If you watch those movies, oh, God, what was that? Jupiter Ascending, or whatever it was called. Yeah, that was bad. That was really, really bad, and I felt bad for him. But I think most stuff I've seen him in Pillars of the Earth, he was really good in that. I think he was really great in Les Mis, and obviously he's been good in this. So I thought it was a good start. And then the second movie, it was like, look, I understood the stuff that was going on behind the scenes with Johnny Depp and his wife. at the time. So I understood kind of what happened, but I was like, yeah, Crimes of Grindelwald, and you don't have Grindelwald in your movie. That's kind of a bad plan. But that movie completely jumped the shark in like the last like 40 minutes of it, to a point where like I wasn't even interested in this one anymore. But here's the thing: they're talking about now that this is probably going to lose $100 million for them, and they're talking about that they're going to end it. This was supposed to be 5 or 7 movies. Yeah, they're talking about ending it now, going the whole like Divergent route and just like not even finishing it, and that's wild. And you also got to consider they've got Warner Brothers has Ezra Miller as like almost like the head. I mean, I still think this is an Eddie Redmayne vehicle, but they've got Ezra Miller very very much in the forefront of this movie and Flash, and he can't stay out of trouble. Like I think that guy's at the point where like he needs like serious help, because I don't know the full story yet, but I heard he like he got arrested last week, and then he got arrested again the other day for like throwing a chair at some lady's face. I don't even know what the deal is with that. I don't follow a lot of celebrity gossip or anything like that, but I was just like, that guy's throwing away just a golden opportunity if all this stuff about him is true. And yeah, that's 2 franchises that could be ending that he's a part of because he can't stay out of trouble. So I just think that's just a bad mojo all around for Warner Brothers. I think they keep attaching their wagon to the wrong people. But that's just my opinion on it. If they end Fantastic Beast, it won't be a surprise to me. What I think they're going to do, now that the actors are old enough, even though I feel like that book kind of got a lukewarm reception from Potterheads, I think they're going to try to do an adaptation of Cursed Child. I really do. When they saw that the reunion special they had on HBO did so well, I think they're going to start talking to those actors and seeing if they would, because they're old enough now, and seeing if they can have them come back and do a Cursed Child movie. I really think that that's what they're going to try to do, because they're not going to reboot Harry Potter, because like you would never be able to replace that cast at this point. It's just, I mean, a generation grew up with those movies. It's like remaking Star Wars for them at this point. But I also know Warner Brothers isn't just going to like not make Harry Potter stuff because it makes money. So I really do. I think they're going to try to get the original cast back, and they're going to try to do a Cursed Child movie. So hopefully there's some rewrites. Because that story, yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much where things are at, guys. So what was your week like? Why don't you drop in the comments and let me know what you're watching, what you read, what you listen to, what you are playing, guys. As always, there are no wrong answers, and I'm going to try to go make sure me and my kids don't get bit by a snake or something as we go camping up by the lake. So you guys have an awesome weekend, and I will talk to you next week.